assault on a
It was a positive interaction.
Sure. It's a positive interaction.
Community policing.
Yeah.
Right. You just box the gangsters, you know?
There has to be a little bit of leash for that officer to be embedded in that community and meet them where they're at.
Every shift, all 10 hours, parked at the end of the street with my cruise lights on, essentially just waiting there to get shot.
So I personally had to watch 4 kids die. Like, it was too late. I got to watch them gasp for their last bits of air. And in 2 of those situations, it was neglect.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Only Cops. Josh and Bill here, and special guest Patreon member Michael. We're going to continue watching End of Watch clips, my personal favorite movie.
Hey.
So come ride 3 men with us today. Let's get it.
What's that command presence?
Oh, hi. Our audio's gone.
Yeah, we got a call
we need
about
that.
some missing children.
Yes, my babies are gone.
All right.
My babies are gone.
Well, let us in. We can talk. We can have a conversation about
Oh,
this, all
okay,
right?
okay. Yeah, my babies are gone. They've been missing all night, and I've been
Why don't you
here.
step over here for a second, okay?
I'll step over here for a second. Wasting time.
Sir, let me see your hands. How many children are missing?
Oh, two. A boy and a girl.
Ma'am,
Yes,
what are the ages
yes.
of the children that are missing?
One is one,
All right.
and the other
Who's
is 3.
tweaking?
Sir,
Tweaking.
let me see your hands, please. Let me see your hands.
Oh, God, I've had that
How
level.
much hands behind?
All right.
Hands behind your head.
Yeah.
Man, officer, we're good here. Listen, don't say anything to them, man. Don't say.
They're not here. They're gone. The babies are gone.
What did you say? Okay, you know what? I'm going to check the house,
Listen to
okay?
me, officer. Please listen to me. I'm trying to
The kids are with their grandma.
Sit the fuck down. Sit the fuck down.
Yeah, this is where you separate
Check the
them.
house out. You can hide. You can hide under a bed or in a closet, okay? My partner, you can talk to my partner.
You're wasting time. The kids are not here. If you can please go outside and get my kids right now, you're wasting time. Stop, don't push me. My babies are missing.
Protective sweep.
By the looks of this house, you call it a welfare check.
Oh, yeah.
God,
To be
yeah.
honest,
Would you please listen to me, officer?
Officer, let me see some type of warrant, man. What the hell did you let them in here? Listen, you fucking bitch. I'm gonna kill you.
What the fuck's happening?
All right, I sent you. Do you hear what I said to you? You just let me know how clear I have to make myself to you. Why don't you open your fucking mouth and tell me how clear I have to make myself to you?
Partner, get off. All right, what's up? You okay, partner? What's happening, right?
You dumbass smoking baby. Go ahead.
What's wrong with kids?
Go ahead, you fucking crackhead.
Yeah.
Lucky you found them.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be pissed too.
Josh would have had to pull me off that guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
that's what happened there. So,
Yeah, that's
Literally.
it's literally what happened here.
So we'll pause it here. They don't need to go watch.
Yeah, there's
fucking
nothing.
suffering kids, but
It's not that rare. This isn't like a made up rare scene.
I'm trying to like find a like not fucked up way to talk about this, like that won't piss me off or trigger me about this. So I personally had to watch 4 kids die. Like, it was too late. I got to watch them gasp for their last bits of air, and in 2 of those situations it was neglect. One was gross neglect. That one, fortunately, I didn't have to see, but I had to go step all over what was left of that kid.
Yeah.
But it was, when we talk about what I'll call like when I talk about the criminal element as opposed to everyone else, and this is not people involved in domestics, this is not people involved in, I wouldn't even say like shoplifting, borderline robbery, depending on how it shakes out, like, because you have dope rips and stuff like that, it's a little more complicated than this. This is like sheer lack of give a damn of how you affect other people. Like, sheer lack. This is school shooters, these are pedophiles, these are, again, people that are perfectly willing to tie their kids up and are getting so cracked out of their mind that they are so annoyed that these kids need care that they're willing to duct tape them into a closet. And as egregious as his reaction is, and he's totally probably getting written up for it.
Oh yeah.
It's totally, I'd take the write-up, to be honest. Or I'd
yeah,
sit there and be like,
me too.
it is what it is. But, like, you have to ask yourself, from a civilian context, right, how often do we joke about, like, you know, putting all the pedophiles on an island and nuking it?
Yeah.
Or whatever. And everyone somehow will, like, get behind the train of, well, these are shitty people. They're still people. And they still need to be treated procedurally justly. And this is why I wouldn't have been okay with him going in there and kicking the dude's teeth in or something crazy. But...
as much as we might want to.
well, what I'm getting at is, like, you're asking the officer to shelf a lot. Like, shelf a whole lot. And it's probably not the first time as kind of they starting to pick up on the dilapidated state of this living situation. They're both clearly intox. They have mucus running into their mouths. They're talking in circles. Like, they're like, okay, but your kids are missing, right? And they're doing just a quick security sweep to make sure they're not in the house. Because they could have, let's say they just took her word for it, right? And you're the conscientious objector with your cell phone and you're the First Amendment auditor. Why aren't you looking for the kids? I guarantee you they'd be there. Why aren't you looking for the kids? Let's say they left. Let's say they canvassed the whole place and they put an APB out this whole time. Infant probably dies inside of 10 hours. The other kids are already scarred for life, right? And just because you want to appease the situation or you want to appease what makes sense to most people in these situations, kids get hurt, people get hurt, individuals get hurt. Yeah. Unless you've dealt with it firsthand, go talk to a social worker and ask them how many cases they have out like this. Or go talk to
Active cases.
That's what I mean, active cases like this. And it's, fortunately for them, it's typically a paperwork thing. They're not having to walk, like, into the house and find the kid or do whatever. It's very, very different. I can't tell you how many times I had, like, emergency domestics where it's like an aggravated assault and I find, like, a 2-month-old in the back seat that had to witness. And they might not remember it, but I was like, you were willing to run somebody over in the car and throw somebody out of a car with a 1-year-old in the back?
In the car.
You know, the 1-month-old in the back?
That's pretty common.
You know, I've changed diapers for little kids like this because I had to go arrest mom for trying to run somebody over. You know what I mean? Or something crazy.
And,
like,
you know,
it's a weird...
I haven't had the misfortune of seeing any dead children, although I'm sure one day it's going to happen.
Sure.
But I have seen the neglect, the horrible conditions. Kids are staying in these houses that, honestly, the city should go just condemn. But they're living in these conditions, and the parents are out there smoking crack and stuff like that. So this is more common than people would like you to believe.
Boy, and when we talk specifically about drugs or we talk specifically about prostitution, things of that nature, they'll always call them victimless crimes. And the conversation will come out about victimless crimes. And, like, vice in and of itself...
here's your victims.
I was about to say, vice is a weird... there's like a weird radiation poisoning that happens around vice, and that's that you start to see neglect. You start to see what were, you know, people that probably weren't practicing safe sex, so now they're having unwanted pregnancies, or, you know, there's crazy stuff that starts happening, and you could cut it off at the source, or you could start working at the source or the epicenter of this problem, or just keep letting it happen. And so it's so super hard to have college kids in an academic setting talk about, well, we should just give out free meth pipes, or we should just do whatever. It's hard to listen to that when you're a law enforcement officer and you've had to, you know, scrape a kid off a floor or do stuff like that. It's very different.
And so many people in society don't want to have the conversation about this specific... this gets hidden. A lot of people don't know that this is...
oh, the cities won't show it? Yeah,
this is the condition people live in.
Yeah.
This is their reality.
If you could, like, see an archive, like, where this... and this happens in cities. There was nice houses in the city I worked in. There was a university there.
Beautiful
you know,
houses.
There's sporting events, and there's
like multi-million-dollar houses
Sure.
where we worked. In the right area.
This was within walking distance of most of that stuff.
Yes.
I guarantee you, if you're sitting in a house right now or an apartment right now, you could walk to this.
From our beautiful downtown, I can walk to the shittier neighborhood.
So, like, our worst apartment complex, one street over, had probably the most expensive house in the city that we worked in.
Yeah.
And it was a gated community right next to this apartment complex that had shootings every other day.
Or fireworks calls, what they call. There were fireworks.
Keeps the property values down.
Yeah, sure. But it's just different. And I think this is when we talk about mental health, or we talk about when you start to see outbursts from officers, it's not necessarily that they were bad or that whatever happened. And producer Juan actually mentioned this one time, about cycling them on and off the street. Because you could really only digest... all of us have, like, a personal limit for how much of this stuff we can...
that too,
that we can get exposed to before you start acting out. You know what I mean? If it's like the 100th kid that you've seen be sexually assaulted or something like that, and you are getting to go and arrest that guy, where's your mind at?
Yeah,
right.
You know what I mean?
And we had a great officer. He became our mental health resource officer, and he said all of my critical incidents hit me after about 8 months sitting at a desk.
Yep.
And he had to take time off because everything came back. He was able to suppress it while he's still on the street.
Yeah.
He got a new position. He was working at the training center. He was helping create programs and working on all the academic stuff. And then he said after about 8 months of sitting at my desk, one day it all hit me.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's just different, and I'm glad. To a certain part, I'm glad most people don't know about it, and I think you're seeing a lot of hard work from a lot of good people to prevent that stuff from occurring or from kind of being brought to the surface. But when you're advocating for law enforcement or you're advocating for progress, these are the type of issues we really need to be focusing on how to fix, because as of right now, it's just law enforcement. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. When you talk about the war on poverty, it's pretty much just cops.
We're the wall.
Yeah, and so it's just very different. The problem is advocacy groups and the national conversation doesn't apply to you if you're in this situation. Those kids will never see any type of help from the system or advocacy groups or anything. No. The money's there, but they won't see it. Yeah. And I'm glad that the producers of End of Watch actually took time to showcase this. It's just not nearly as sexy or as captivating as a car chase or a use of force, but this is probably the majority of the work that you do.
This is reality.
Yeah, this was probably half of the calls that we worked with some level of neglect. This is a pretty egregious example, but there was some level of this occurring in the vast majority of the calls that we worked with.
It's meant to smack you in the face.
Sure. But this didn't sell any tickets, but I'm glad that they had this conversation, so.
Real shit though, I wanted to holler at you, B. Some niggas keep on talking about you got your ass whooped by a motherfucking little punk ass one time.
Nah, blood, these niggas is hating. Let me tell you something. Me and the cop got out, right? The motherfucker took off his badge, dropped his gun. I mean, he kept it gangster. We straight up squabbled, head up.
They still took you to the bounty though, huh?
Yeah, but for disorderly conduct. Not for squabbling with the police, you feel me?
Blood, you fought a cop and they didn't put no assault on the peace officer on you?
Listen to me, my nigga. I'm trying to tell y'all. They really showed me love to keep it G. I'm a 2-time felon, right? Y'all know that, right? Could have struck me out and gave me life for fighting that cop. You feel me? I got right out. It wasn't shit.
All right, but she heard you got your ass beat, blood.
Blood, you better shut the fuck up, CK. I'll run this fucking fork up in your ass, I swear to God. Let me tell you something. Win, lose, or draw. As long as you squabble and get down, that's gangster. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, that Mexican cop might be acting bull with you, Trey, but he's still out there killing niggas straight out.
No. Listen to me, all y'all. This whole fucking thing is like changing of the guard. Back in the day, all these neighborhoods used to be black, and what are they now?
Mexicans.
Exactly. Used to be chicken stands on the corner, now they fucking taco stands on every corner. Some real shit, if we don't come together, we're gonna be some extinct niggas pretty soon.
I don't know how to approach this. There is a culture, I guess we'll call it street culture, and people will talk about urban culture and things of that nature. There is a way that you have to navigate space like this. And he's articulating it from one side of the fence of he's seeing what's happening around him, and this is clearly a fucked, gang-ridden place, you know? But, interestingly enough, he's like, hey, man, I got out pretty good on that.
Yeah.
You know,
he's semi-supportive of law enforcement.
I had a boxing match with a cop, and they didn't hit me with assault on a
It was a positive interaction.
Sure. It was a positive interaction.
Community policing.
Yeah.
Right. You just box the gangsters, you know?
Yeah. So, but what I'm getting at is there's for the Harvard elites here that like to comment a lot on law enforcement interaction. There is a very different way that these type of communities want to be interacted with. And typically, they want to be left the fuck alone. Let's be honest.
Yep.
But
especially from police.
Yeah, especially from police. But a lot of times, we still have a vested interest as a community to advocate for kids. Nobody there at that barbecue is going to sit there and be pro what happened to the kids in one of these other scenes where there's neglect and stuff like that. And typically they'll get out of the way for that. Again, same thing with shootings and murders and things of that nature. Nobody wants that. But when it does happen, there has to be some level of police involvement, and they'll tolerate you as much as you go. However, you do have to meet people where they're at. There's a really interesting for the Christians in the audience, you'll understand this. They'll say that Jesus loves you where you're at, not at the good person you might be or you might become. And so law enforcement cannot, this idea that SOPs, and we have this professional way that we have to dress, and then we have to shave our beards, and we have to do all this stuff to come off as professional. You cannot interact with somebody in such a sterile manner that they can't relate to you in some way, shape, or form, or that they can't indicate that you are, and I quote, keeping it gangsta. You have to be able to meet them where they're at. They won't respect you. They won't listen to you. They won't want to interact with you, and they first damn sure won't want your help.
Yeah. Admin in the back, start listening.
Sure, what I'm getting at is that there has to be a little bit of leash for that officer to be embedded in that community and meet them where they're at. Part of that is having, officers of a more diverse, ethnic background, but a lot of that is just when they're immersed in that culture, they get it. I say fam now for the rest of forever. Just so stupid. I hate that. I never said it before I was a cop, but that was my demographic that I was around. I say things like, where do you stay, as opposed to where do you live. These things, I just got so used to saying it because I was immersed in that community, and that's the way that they wanted to be interacted with.
Well, and also you knew if someone that we were interacting with called us fam.
Sure.
The escalation meter came down a little bit. We're like, all right.
Cool. Yeah. All right. It's like he's seeing me where I'm at. So it's an interesting when you're the arbiter of the government coming in and interacting with people. I like you look at something like The Mandalorian where he comes on like literally a completely different planet.
Yeah.
You have to adjust to the customs. You have to adjust to the language. You have to adjust to the culture. That's indicative here, and it does reverberate. They do notice, and they do tell you this is the way. They will talk about how they were interacted with, and they will tend to at least stay out of your way when you're having to do things. So you get to see what happens in the streets, of which most of you do not reside.
Because if you don't talk the talk and walk the walk, they're just gonna disregard you, and they're gonna give you problems every time.
Yeah, and you're gonna have a hard time solving those problems without their help. So we'll keep going. Has it been like? Oh, it did that go to the end? Oh, wow. Okay.
They probably can't show the... Yeah. It's a pretty gnarly drive-by.
So anyways, afterwards there is a pretty gnarly drive-by. And they do end up, I believe in the film itself, they actually do end up giving some information to law enforcement because they want that to be handled. And that, unfortunately, specifically with gangs, we have a lot of conversation about racism on a national scale. Bro, you don't talk about a racist group of people, bro. Gangs... They draw lines very hard in the sand of the way you dress and the way you look and the language you speak. When it does happen, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And like I said, if these got as much news coverage as officer-involved shootings, you'd be shocked at how often this happens.
Well, I mean, it happens every day in the right place.
That's what I'm saying. Well, how many times were we stuck on directed patrols?
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, well, somebody got shot.
Yeah.
And so now...
Again.
They're going to shoot
somebody got shot again from the same people.
Yep. There's been 3 shootings on this same street. We need you to patrol this street and show officer presence.
Yep.
Not fix the problem.
No, just to be there. So that
just to be there.
Hopefully, as long as we have someone posted there, they won't shoot at them.
Right.
Oh,
yeah, I had a house on the south side. They got shot up 3 times in a month. Mm-hmm. I spent 2 weeks, every shift, all 10 hours, parked at the end of the street with my cruise lights on, essentially just waiting there to get shot. I was the only officer there. They parked me there from the beginning of my shift to the end, and it was all just show. And they eventually evicted these people from this house because they were renting the house, and they got in touch with the landlord or whatever. But it was gang violence. And the mom ends up getting shot and goes to the hospital, and she's all bragging about her sons being in a gang war, and she took a round through the garage. It's just
weird. It's a world out there that y'all don't realize exists, but it's real. And unfortunately, like I said, if you're not in law enforcement or you're not in a gang, you don't understand that world. I don't know. It is what it is, but it's this is another wonderful clip from End of Watch. I appreciate you guys watching it with us. If you guys like the content that you're seeing and want to see more, always like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the bell notifications for updates to the stuff that we do when we go live. We go live twice a week, typically Tuesdays and Thursdays. We do Let's Plays and we do podcasts. We break down not TV. We break down real world content and things of that nature. We also have a Patreon if you're really, really up for helping them, and it's as little as $1 a month. So if you want to subscribe and do that, Michael here is one of our Patreon members, and you get to come do meet and greets and be part of our Discord. Our Discord is how we organize this stuff, and that is how we decide what content we're going to do. And until next time, peace.